Absolute Virtue, the first of many multicolored cards in this set. Absolute Virtue was a raid boss in Final Fantasy XI, and I have heard many stories of how impossible it was to defeat. Every time a group figured out how to kill it using anything other than what they would consider to be fair, or what the devs considered to be fair, they would patch out whatever the exploit was, whether it was kiting the guy to a weird place, or cycling damage using some weird series of abilities. He was very, very, very difficult to kill, and in Magic, he's going to make you very difficult to kill. Absolute Virtue is an 8 mana, 8/8. It has flying and it can't be countered. And you, the player, have protection from each of your opponents, meaning that their creatures don't deal damage to you and their spells can't target you, but your creatures can still be targeted and they can still die. So like Absolute Virtue still dies to go for the throat. And then you lose the protection. But up until that point, oh, he's a nasty boy. He's a nasty boy. Would I play this in limited? Maybe. As like the top end in a deck. I could see playing it in limited. As for constructed, I'm not really sure. It does stop a bunch of different cards. And like playing it as your commander, I think it's just like a little too expensive. You could put it into like Hashaton. I honestly think Hashaton is the right place for this. You discard it and you make a copy of it that's a 4/4 for 3 mana. Perfect. That's perfect for Hashaton. And then your opponent will house meld it. Yeah, then your opponent will house meld it because it's Brawl. Sid, Timeless Artificer. You've probably seen some art of this Sid because he has 15 different arts because he shows up as a character in Final Fantasy 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Also a bunch of the spin-off games. He's not in 1, so there's no Final Fantasy 1 art, but there are the 15 different Sid arts. Each deck can have as many Sids as you want in it. They are still legendary, though, so you have to have like a mirror box or something out unless you are okay with sacrificing them. Artifact creatures and heroes you control get +1/+1 for each artificer you control and each artificer card in your graveyard. So as your Sids die, Sid's buff gets better. Because this is a card with cycling, you can put the extra ones you have into your graveyard. And it's kind of cool because it's like, yeah, the more artificers you have in your graveyard, the bigger your artifact creatures get. There are a bunch of other artificer cards that are also benefiting your artifacts. So if those die, get milled, anything else, you get more buffs. I think that in limited, Sid is fine. He's got cycling if you don't want him right away. He buffs those hero tokens. There's a bunch of artifact creatures. Not that many, but there are a bunch. Vehicles are included in that. And like, he's a 4 mana 4/4. So I would say checks off all the boxes. Seems great. Yeah, put him in Aether Drift. He works with the job select cards. Yep, because they make hero tokens. How many Sids are there? There's 15 different arts. It's an uncommon, so in some weird, crazy dream circumstance, there could be one of them in every single pack at a draft. Probably wouldn't be. But you are allowed to put any number of them into your deck. So you could put up to like 50 of them into a deck if you really wanted to. But Sids don't buff other Sids. Like, it only buffs artifact creatures and heroes. Now, you could turn them into an artifact creature. You could turn them into a hero. But it would take something else to do that. So that's what Sid's up to. I do like the cycling though, unlimited too. Hope Esteem, maybe? It is a 2 mana 2/2 with lifelink. Okay, solid unlimited. It's a rare though, so what else does it do? At the beginning of your end step, each opponent mills X life. Or mills X card, where X is the amount of life you gained this turn. Yeah, alright. It lifelinks and it mills. In limited, this is kind of risky though, because there's a lot of flashback cards in this set, so unless you are milling out your opponent, I don't know. You might mill their bomb and they might not be able to get it back, or you might mill their flashback cards and you essentially give them card advantage. Yeah, there's no tactics in this. It's kind of sad. I think the card's okay, though, and I feel like this is actually a more interesting card for Commander, where milling is very difficult in Commander because there's 100 cards. However, gaining 100 life in Commander, not that hard. Like, it takes work, it takes a dedicated deck for it, but if this is your Commander, you can do it. I believe in you. Titus, blitzball star. God damn blitzball everywhere. It's always blitzball. It's a 3-mana 2/1. Whenever an artifact you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on Titus. Whenever he attacks, tap target creature an opponent controls. Okay, that makes him a pretty annoying attacker. He's good with all of the equipment that's in white and all the other colors. He's good with the artifacts we haven't seen yet that are going to be coming. And also, you can play him with blitzball. And no, he's not Titus. He's still Titus. He will always be Titus. Unless I'm being paid by Square Enix to pronounce it with accordance to their style guide, he is Titus. And he always will be. Hi, Emet-Selch. Oh, I showed the poster of him earlier. You tell him? It'd be cool if the tokens in the pack had the card games. Oh, Queen's Blood, the one from Final Fantasy VII. Is that what it's called? Or Queen's something? I think it's Queen's Blood. Emet-Selch, Unsundered. I think this is a hell of a card. 3 mana, 2/4, Vigilance. Whenever it enters or attacks, you draw a card and then discard a card. So it gives you some card filtering. But also, if there are 14 or more cards in your graveyard, you may transform Emmet into Hades, Sorcerer of Eld. This is an avatar. It's a 6/6. It's got vigilance, and during your turn, you may play cards from your graveyard. So remember how you needed like 14 of them in there? Sweet. You can get them back. If a card or token would be put into your graveyard from anywhere, though, you exile it instead. So it's like a turbo finality for everything. Won't get you death triggers. It sounds like everything goes into exile. I think that Hades / Emet-Selch is interesting and limited. I think that just on its own, Emet-Selch being like this looter, it's got vigilance, has a decent stat line, is good. I don't think you're likely to transform it that often unless you are very late in the game, because 14 cards in your graveyard is a lot of cards in the graveyard, even if you're self-milling or like looting and everything else. But if you do get to this point, I feel like they either got to get rid of this right away or you've won the game. Yeah, he turns into the Yawgmoth. As far as Commander goes, though, I think this is an excellent Brawl and Commander card. Like, it seems very good. It does have to survive a turn cycle to transform, though. Which, well, in Brawl, good luck. Golbez, Crystal Collector. I actually think this dude looks like a sweet commander. Golbez, Crystal Collector. 2 mana, 1/4. Great stat line. That dude can block. And whenever an artifact you control enters, surveil 1. That includes artifact tokens. It includes equipment. Any artifact. At the beginning of your end step, if you control 4 or more artifacts, not even 4 or more artifacts like entered into your control this turn, return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand. If you control 8 or more artifacts, each opponent loses life equal to that card's power. Okay, so you surveil the biggest, nastiest creatures, maybe even artifact creatures, into your graveyard. And then you show them from the graveyard, you put them back in your hand so you can use them again, or you drain your opponent's life total. Maybe it's a cityscape leveler or something. Phyrexian Dreadnought, sure, why not? Your Death Shadows, yeah. It doesn't work with vehicles, but it is still pretty sweet. Your Blightsteel Colossi, yeah. It's cool. You bin the Emmy, you bring back the Emmy. Your opponent loses 13 life. I think this is a very cool build around as like a pseudo reanimator setup, or just like putting things back into your hand. Graveyard. You can play it with like Sir Conrad and things that care about things leaving and entering your graveyard. Could be good. Yeah, lots of artifacts and things that trigger with regards to things leaving your graveyard, which there are actually a few artifacts that care about that. I want to say there was like a vehicle from Aether Drift that might care about it too. Locke Cole. He is a rogue. He's a 3-mana 2/3 with Death Touch and Lifelink. And whenever he deals combat damage to a player and people won't want to block him because he has Death Touch, you draw a card and then discard a card. Sweet. More loot for my looter. It's this you'd play it in limited. I would say this is not something you'd play outside of it. Not like these two, but that's why that's a mythic and that's a rare. Ultimecia Time Sorcerer. So somebody was saying that Ultimecia has some sort of crazy blink loop with the cat lady. What do? 5 mana 4/5. Whenever she enters or attacks, you surveil 2. At the beginning of your end step, you may pay 8 mana and exile 8 cards from your graveyard. If you do, transform Ultimecia into Ultimecia Omnipotent, whatever. 7/7 Menace with time compression. When this creature transforms into Ultimecia, you take an extra turn after this one. Okay, so whoever was telling me this takes infinite extra turns with the Blink Lady, no, because you have to have 8 cards in your graveyard to do that, and you need 8 mana for each one. That is tricky to loop. Does anybody understand Final Fantasy VIII? Okay, so like the first part of Final Fantasy VIII, I think I kind of understood it when I was watching it. Then we get to the time travel, and I have no idea what's going on. Is this a human? On the front side it is. The back side's a Nightmare Warlock. I don't really like time travel in a lot of storytelling. Yeah, like... you can moon mist her. Yes, you can moon mist her in order to transform her for free, or I guess for the cost of moon mist, take an extra turn, and then do something that would recur the moon mist. It's easy to understand if you agree with the Squall is dead theory. What if I don't? How do I feel about this card as commander? A very cool, uncommon commander. If you're willing to just, like, try and build around the abilities and, like, you really want to flip her. I don't think she's that good, though. She's cool. Rinoa equals Ultimecia is the best theory. This is too much work. Next up, Sephiroth, Planet's Heir. This card is not in the draft boosters. This card is the face card right there on the front of the box. There you go. Sephiroth. He's right there. So this is Sephiroth, Planet's Heir. You will not be able to draft him, but he is standard legal. 6 mana, 4/4 vigilance. When he enters, creatures your opponent's control get -2/2 until end of turn. Like a massacre worm. And whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, you put a +1/+1 counter on Sephiroth. Honestly, not bad. I think that's a pretty cool card. And it's a lot more interesting and powerful than cards that we would get in some other starter decks. Seems solid for reanimating. I like that it grows as it goes. It's blinkable too. Yeah. If you would play Worm, you could play this instead. It won't drain your opponent for life, but it is a kind of similar ability. And it's cool. It just like stab a guy 10 tables away. And hopefully Sephiroth gets big and then can like close out the game. You Sephiroth, the guy with all the chocobos? Yeah. Do I see this getting any play in standard? Probably not, unless, like, getting to 6 mana and playing a creature that takes out weenies is a viable strategy to help protect you. I have a feeling it's too expensive. Yeah, it is good with Massacre Girl. If this were my commander, I would put Massacre Girl in with it. The one that draws off, like, Wither. Xande, Dark Mage. 4 mana, 3/3 with Menace. Gets +1/+1 for each non-creature, non-land in your graveyard. Ooh. So all of those spells and equipments that you've been putting in the graveyard make Xande pretty big. All right. But if you cast your flashback stuff and it goes to exile, it's not in your graveyard anymore. Boo! How do I feel about it? It's also not draftable? Oh! It's not. I was thinking, like, it seems okay for limited. It's... At 4 mana, that's, like, okay. I think because it's a base 3/3, that's kind of nice. If you're doing, like, a self-mill deck. How can I tell it's not draftable? Because its collector number is higher than the rest of them. Yeah, I think it's okay for like commander and brawl type stuff. It's not like busted broken, super powerful, but it is decent. I think the menace on it is nice, but it's not draftable, so don't have to think about it in limited. Yippee! Black Waltz number 3. If you have a little speaker, you can put the song on and play out the entire scene. Just, you know what? Just go to YouTube and watch the whole scene. Black Waltz number 3. 4 mana. 2/2, flying and death touch, and whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Black Waltz number 3 deals 2 damage to each opponent. It's a gutter snipe. It is a Rakdos gutter snipe. It costs 1 more, but it's also got flying and death touch. Sweet. It's all non-creatures. Play this thing, you go Cheerios, Cheerios, Cheerios. It's cool. I think this is a pretty sweet design for a card in limited, and I would play this in a limited deck. I would also play it as a commander. Yeah. Like, Rakdos Spellsinger. I built a Judith deck that's like that. Garland, Knight of Cornelia. Oh, I really like the art they did on this. Let me see the backside. Hell yeah, chaos! Okay. 2 mana, 3/2. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, surveil 1. Okay, good way to fill up the graveyard. For 7 mana. You can transform this from the graveyard. Oh, it doesn't just transform, it transforms after it's dead. Chaos. Yes. The fact that this is a 2 mana 3/2 that has that ability and also comes back to the graveyard. Okay. Chaos is a 5/5. It has flying, and when it dies, it goes to the bottom of its owner's library. That seems sweet. Yeah, I like the combination of like the stat line on the front and the expensive, but I would say fairly achievable, like kind of nice ability from the grave. This is a decent card, and it doesn't feel like it's overpowered. It feels very good though for an uncommon. Kuja, genome sorcerer. This art's pretty sweet. The card art that they used for his Through the Ages card, though, pisses me off. 4 mana, 3/4. At the beginning of your end step, you make one of those ping wizards, the black mage tokens. If you control 4 more wizards, including himself, he transforms. And that is at just at any time. No, it's at your end step, after this trigger finishes. If you have 4 more wizards, he transforms and becomes Kuja, Fate Defied, Avatar Wizard. If a wizard you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage instead, whether that's attacking the pings from those tokens, maybe the pings from this guy. They're all pretty good. More damage! Also means he, like, hits for 8, so that's sweet. Yeah, it seems solid. I could see this being a fun build around. Make it a commander. It's good and limited, too. Anything that spits out like a token over and over and over and limited is going to be good. And you may actually not want to transform Kuja. So you might intentionally try to trade away some of those tokens. Like, use them as just cheap free blockers. Whilst, like, spell slinging in order to not transform him. Because even though double damage is good, sometimes just spitting out a token every turn to chump block for you is good, too. Feels like something that will need to be killed. There's a bunch of wizards in the set, so yeah. And there's also an equipment that turns things into wizards. Multiple equipments that turn things into wizards. Balthier and Fran. There's your 12 duo. This is a 3 mana 4/3 with reach. They give vehicles you control +1/+1, vigilance, and reach. And whenever a vehicle crewed by Balthier and Fran this turn attacks, if it's the first combat phase of the turn, you can pay 3 mana. If you do, you get an additional combat phase. It does not untap things, but because it's giving things vigilance, ideally you can just attack again with the vigilance stuff. But look! She has a bow! Fran has a bow! And she has reach. See that? Eat it, Oketra. Nylea. The cards with really big windshield wipers. You wish they weren't just Gruul vehicles as a commander. It is what it is. Sometimes you just gotta play Gruul Kibler cards. Sure. Oh, it's an Olivia card in Kibler colors. That's a cute way to describe it. Balthier's rifle, not the bow. Are you telling me that Fran is not aiming upwards? She's actually like aiming down and the gun is shooting up? What if they're both shooting upwards? It's Glarbo! It's Gladiolus. Like the flower? That's what that is? Gladiolus, amicitia. It's Glarbo. Six mana, 6/6. When he enters, you search your library for a land card, put it into battlefield, tapped, and shuffle. Great. I love ramping when I'm already at 6 mana. Landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, another target creature you control gets +2/+2 and trampled until end of turn. That's nice, because he gives the buff when he enters. Alright, Garbo. You've redeemed yourself. My sexy bodyguard, man. Has somebody shown Oxy the card yet? Amicitia sounds like a mushroom, not a flower. Yeah, but isn't Gladiolus like a flower? Gladiolus flower. Yeah, they're the bulbs you can buy that have the big stem with lots of flowers on it. You get one whole land. Listen, it's a 6 mana 6/6, and it can give things trample and a buff. It's practically Colossal Dreadmaw. It says any land, not basic. Oh, it can get towns and limited. Or I guess like bounce lands in other formats. You wish they had given him a full art card? Does he not have one? I don't have the alt arts on here. You don't care what he does. Have I seen his arms? Have you seen his chest? Yes, that seems cool. I would play this in limited. It can get Field of the Dead. It can get you Field of the Dead in Commander. Or something even more busted. Rydia, Summoner of Mist. I actually think this design is really cool. 2 mana, 1/2. Landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, you may discard a card and then draw a card. Now, there aren't that many cards that do Gruul landfall graveyard things, but there's things that can bring back lands from your graveyard, so you could discard a land to bring it back later. You can also discard sagas because Rydia has X tap, return target saga card with mana value X from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it, and that also gets haste because you could get a saga creature. Only works as a sorcery. That's a really sweet card and limited if you have lots of the summons. And it also feels like a cool build around for, well, Gruul sagas. It works great with, like, Fable of the Mirror Breaker, which puts things in your graveyard and other cards. I also feel that this card has a weird synergy with... I'm trying to remember his name. Jarsel? Of the Scion of the Dark Agents, or Dark Age Scion. Jarsel is an arena-only Gruul Graveyards Matter card. And you could play them together. And they seem like they'd get along. Yeah, Rydia is a cool summons commander. I think so, yeah. I think that she's a cool saga commander in general. She's a... Well, she's better than Satsuki. And what else matters other than being better than Satsuki? We also have the Yuna that's better than Satsuki. These two also go great together, but this Terra is technically a 5-color card, so you can put Rydia into a Terra deck. You cannot put Terra into a Rydia commander deck. Just saying it now because people are going to try it and they're going to get upset. Terra, magical, adept, 3 mana, 4/2, human, wizard, warrior. When she enters, you mill 5 cards. You put up to 1 enchantment card milled this way into your hand. For 6 mana, tap, exile her, and she returns as Esper Terra. Create a token that's a copy of target non-legendary enchantment you control. It gains haste. If it's a saga, you can put up to 3 lore counters on it. Sacrifice it at the beginning of your next end step. So this can be done 3 times in a row. And then you add 10 mana and you exile her. Oh, I should also mention, she's a flying 6/6. And she comes back as Terra Magical Adept, mills you again, and gets an enchantment. So she's a 5-color enchantments commander. Yes, she does make Esper colors on top of the Gruul on the backside. Hee hee hee, ha 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 ha. Use this with Fall of the Thran to repeatedly blow up everybody's lands. Sure, I won't stop you. But I will be kind of upset with you if you do. Garnet, Princess of Alexandria. Glad Garnet got a card. This is a Selesnya 2/2 with lifelink. Whenever Garnet attacks, you may remove a lore counter from each of any number of sagas. Put +1/+1 counter on Garnet for each lore counter removed. So this is a way to rewind your sagas. That's pretty nice. I think that this works very well for limited. I don't think I would make this a commander over like Yuna, but I do think that it's interesting. Oh, people in chat are talking about the ages of characters in Final Fantasy. So, like, I think Rydia's 7. She's supposed to be a child, but she's also not. You have to go with anime rules for Final Fantasy. If you see a character that is not, like, an old, like, grizzled-looking person, they're probably a teenager. If they're in a position of power, they're probably in their early 20s. It's anime rules. Was there a time skip? She comes back older? Yeah. She spends 10 years in a world where time runs faster. Yeah. She was in the summon realm for a decade. Zidane and Garnet are 16. Yes, most protagonists in Final Fantasy are teenagers, but they're totally not. So, like, I was talking about Lulu from Final Fantasy X with Voxy, and she's like, I really like Lulu's look. I think she's cool with the belt. And I know that, like, she is absolutely, like, 30-year-old coded. Like, she knows her stuff. She's got her life together. And I was like, yeah, but she's probably, like, 20, right? And we look it up, and she's, like, 21. And we're like, yep. Of course she is. Of course she is. Old grown, age 32. Yeah. Hi, Garnet. Rinoa Heartily does have her dog, Angelo. Very important. It's a good dog. It has its own art on the token. 5 mana, 4/4. Human, rebel, warlock. Warlock. When she enters, you create Angelo, 1/1 doggo token. And whenever Rinoa attacks, another creature you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each creature you control. Make your dog super strong when you swing in. She can't buff herself, though. Fine and limited really wouldn't play it in too many other places. She's a witch, but they can't put it on there. Yeah, I think we have Hag as a separate creature type in Magic, but, like, you're kind of stuck choosing between like wizard and warlock here. Like maybe shaman or druid. And she's not druidic. Sorceress. Yeah, but that kind of falls more under wizard. I think, is hag a creature type? Scryfall! Show me! Hags. Yeah, hag's a creature type. We love a good hag. Oh, these are hag warlocks even. We love a good hag. She's not hag-like. Angelo is a girl puppy? I actually didn't know that. Or if I did, I don't remember it. Sarah Farron, 3 mana, 2/2. Human citizen. She's just a regular guy. The first legendary creature you cast each turn costs 2 less to cast. Okay, this is amazing and limited because there's 100 frickin' legendary creature spells. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control 2 or more other legendary creatures, you can transform her. Okay, so I don't know who this is. What the heck does she turn into? Oh, no! They put her in the Gemerald Stone. She turns into an artifact. The first legendary creature still costs 2 less, and legendary creatures you control get +2/+2. That's Lightning Sister, and she turns into a rock. Lassie, who fulfill their focus for their false sea master, are transformed into crystal and granted life eternal. Damn, sorry, girl. You don't even have a job. You're a human citizen. Yeah. If you transform her, you're objectifying women. Or at least one woman. Yuna, Hope of Spira. This is a 5 mana 3/5. During your turn, Yuna and enchantment creatures you control have trample, lifelink, and ward 2. At the beginning of your end step, you can return an enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. For free. It just happens. Yuna isn't banned. There's another Yuna that is banned that's from the commander set. It will be coming to Arena, but it is not standard legal. This is standard legal. I think this Yuna is great. I think that the protection is good. The trample lifelink is cool. And the fact that you can just return enchantments. Yeah, there's good enchantments. They're good. A lot of good cards you can bring back for free in your end step. People are like, you know what you can do in standard? You can use her to bring back Omni. Yeah, just like Abuelo's Awakening in Kona. More ways to cheat in Omni. It's the mythic Rydia. Yeah, it's like if Rydia were mythic. Which makes sense. Also costs 5 mana. I think Yuna should be a good card, so I'm glad she has a good card. Look, that's her in the background. Looking all pretty and fancy. Dancing. Summoning. Is it the same person as in the background? Yes, it is. Yeah, those are both Yuna. Yuna has a whole bunch of art because there's also the entire Final Fantasy X pre-constructed deck, which is a good one to check out if you like enchantments and sagas. Judge Magister Gabrinth. So I'm guessing that's 12. Yep, that's 12 because it's a judge. And, well, I know judge is the same worlds with, like, tactics and 12, so it works. Judge Magister Gabrinth is a 2 mana 2/2 with menace. He's a human advisor knight. Whenever another creature or artifact you control dies, put a +1/+1 counter on this dude. All right, sweet. Grows easy. Yeah, both games take place in Ivalice. Did Bosch get a card? I don't think we've seen one yet. This feels very good for limited. Something that just grows as creatures and artifacts die. Like, nice. It will grow and it has menace, so it's a pretty good attacker. Rufus Shinra, the son of the president of the Shinra Corporation. Well, and then I guess later president of the Shinra Corporation. 3 mana 2/4. Whenever he attacks, if you don't control Darkstar, make a Darkstar. So Darkstar's a 2/2 dog. So he's just make dog. If dog die, it's fine. He make more dog. Woof. I guess if you have like a sacrifice outlet, this is a cool way to just like keep getting more out of it. Can buff you as they die. Bark star. Ruff, ruff. The son of the president? Bark, bark. Mm-hmm. If you do that, you're a monster who's sacrificing dogs. Listen, we do a lot of horrible things in Magic the Gathering. Sometimes that's sacrificing dogs. He is a bad guy, yeah. He's not a good guy. Squall, Seed Mercenary. So this is your protagonist from 8. Did he get a really good card? 4 mana, 3/4. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, it gets double strike until end of turn. Oh, wasn't there like a red card that did that too? Whenever Squall deals combat damage to a player, return target permanent with mana value 3 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield. Okay, so the other one cast a spell. Oh, because it was Cypher. Okay, that makes sense that they'd be parallels. All right, great. I like forgot who it was, and I'm like, wow, this card seems really similar. It's because they're kind of parallel characters. That makes sense. So instead of recasting something for 3 or less, this dude brings back a permanent card with mana value 3 or less. Oh, that's really cool. Saying they are lovers. There's a lot of fan fiction that would agree with you. I think this is a very good card for limited. You will have permanents with mana value 3 or less, not just lands. Bringing them back repeatedly and attacking with a 3/4 with double strike, maybe giving him other abilities with equipment. Sounds solid. It is weird seeing Seed written like that. Yeah, I don't know if it like... I feel like they always do this capitalization though. CD. You recognize the sword from Kingdom Hearts? Yeah, Squall Leonhart. He has a gun blade. You can see the trigger on it. He's not using it, though. Good card unlimited. I could see this being a fun build around for Commander, too. Probably not that good for Brawl, though, just because of, like, how Brawl is. Not the worst. There's permanents that you could bring back that are removal to help clear the way. The blade is also a gun. He's Leon in Kingdom Hearts. They call him Leon in Kingdom Hearts? That's weird. But sure, why not? The Emperor of Ultimecia is a 2-mana, 2/2 human noble wizard. You can tap for blue or red, but you can only use it to cast non-creature spells. But whenever you cast a non-creature spell, if at least 4 mana was spent to cast on it, put a +1/+1 counter, and then if he has 3 or more +1/+1 counters, he transforms into... the Lord Master of Hell. He's a demon noble wizard still. Oh, actually, he's a demon. He was a human before. Whenever the Lord Master of Hell attacks, it deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of non-creature, non-land cards in your graveyard. So this is an Is It Spellslinger card. It seems very solid for an uncommon. Yeah, at least not bad. I think it's fine. I don't know if I would play it outside of it, but cool. Does the transform keep the counters on it? Yep. So it will have at least 3 counters on it when it transforms, meaning it'll be I guess a 6/6. Decent for attacking. So in Kingdom Hearts, they kind of imply he gave up the name Squall and just became Leon. Sure. Call him whatever you want. I don't care. You can call him Banana. You could call him Squeaky Bumper Sticker. Turn him around. Get rid of him. Shantoto. This is the one Taru depicted, because Tarus are a crime and should not exist. Also, they are creature type dwarf. Shantoto, Tactician Magician. 3 mana, 0/4. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Shantoto gets +X/+0, where X is the amount of mana spent on the spell. So the more mana you put in, the bigger she gets. And she'll draw you a card of X's 4 or more. I think that this is pretty cool because you can like continuously draw cards off casting the big spells. And if you happen to have enough mana to cast the highest level of a tiered spell, Shantoto gets really big and limited. Even though it's like, I don't really need to cast the 7 mana for Raga or whatever, I will. And then she gets real big because it's based on the amount of mana spent. There's also that X cost spell that like burns and makes a Chocobo. I bet that would be really sweet with this too. The flavor text also rhymes. Oh ho ho ho. I might be the harshest mistress in all of Vanadiel, but I may yet forgive you if at my feet you kneel. I'm sorry. You will also get put away. It's not Niel. Yeah, but like, it's Vanadiel, right? It's not Vanadiel. I've always said Vanadiel. I used to go over to my friend's place and we would play Final Fantasy 11. I would help them by grinding for bees and we would drink soda pop and eat chips. Vanadiel? Wrong. Vanadiel. Once again, Square Enix is wrong. Terra, Great Sage. Yeah, you tell him. He's a 5 mana 3/3. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you make a hero token. Hey, that's kind of like the 2 mana creature that makes the soldiers when you do that. If 4 or more mana were spent to cast a spell, you draw 2 cards. Neat. If 8 or more mana were cast on the spell, you sacrifice Terra and it deals that much damage to each opponent. You don't have a choice. He dies. This seems fine for limited. I don't think I would go for it in constructed though. He's Mr. Media. Yeah, he's great. He says so. Great Sage. He's a spoony bard. It's not referenced on here though. It's not referenced on there. Emetios. Big meteor claws. I don't think it's bad for limited though. In constructed, it's one of those like tricky cards where it's like the different parts of this make you want to do different things. This one wants you to cast lots of cheap spells. This makes you want to cast like kind of medium spells. And this is like, if you do a big spell, he dies alongside it and deals some damage, doubles it up, or like deals damage based on it. So there is, there's a couple spells that actually have discounted mana costs, but because this only cares about the mana you spent, it doesn't let you like cheat it. Vivi. I think Vivi is like currently the most chased card in this set because it's really good. He's kind of cracked. 7 mana. Sorry, 7 mana. 3 mana. He should cost 7. 3 mana, 0/3. Okay, Amy, why are you so scared of this guy? I'm going to read these in the other order. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Vivi, and it deals 1 damage to each opponent. Oh wow, that's really nice. It's kind of like Sprite Dragon, and it gets this extra damage in. Hey Amy, what's that other ability? Oh, you know. Add X mana in any combination of red and blue, where X is Vivi's power. Activate only during your turn and only once each turn. There's certainly no possible way to cheat that ability, is there? You do not, unlike this guy, the mana can be spent on anything. You can use this mana for any spell or ability. Yeah. Is Vivi a girl? I always use he for Vivi, but I think Vivi is not a human. Vivi is a kind of like an outcast from these like not mechanically but like artificially created wizard army. Genderless, really. Yeah, I feel like that works out. Vivi's a being. Vivi's kind of a construct. Yeah, I've always just used he for Vivi. I don't know if there's like an official, I don't actually know if there's an official like gender term or if like the cutscenes and everything else used anything. The black mages use Mister. Yeah, I feel like in the game it was he, but I wasn't the one playing, so I was half paying attention. El Django, thank you for the 31-month resub.
Let's go.
They call Vivi he in there. Yeah, but not a human. Vivi is not a human. Vivi is creature type wizard. Just a wizard. Can you do stuff with this with like Cauldron? Yeah. Yeah, I think Kina used she and Vivi used he, but it's also like, who cares? Oh, they use S/he for Kina. Interesting. That's cool. Vivi is a child. Vivi is a broken card. Vivi is a problem, and Vivi, I think, is currently pre-selling for an absurd amount of money because people are unwilling to wait a week for these prices to go down. This is not a card I expect to see that much standard play. It might see some standard play in like the Spellslinger deck we have, because it is that good. For the most part, though, this is a card for Commander. And oh boy, is it ever. It's really, really selling for quite a bit. It's currently got a market price of $89. Wow, that's just awful. Yeah, the Is It Proud? This is the Spellslinger deck I'm talking about. With your Corey Steel Cutters and stuff like that. $89! It's pre-sale prices. It will go down. No, that price will not hold unless it somehow becomes a part of some major deck in like Modern. I also have a feeling that this is going to be one of the most purchased sets in all of Magic history, which means that singles from it will be pretty easy to find. Yeah. Yeah, this is good. Is it the most pre-ordered card from it? Probably. That or like one of the FCA through the ages or something. Maybe like Hero of Light. That's the alt art for Joda. Because people like it. I don't know, Cloud of Darkness. Looks cool. Looks like a big Gorgon monster. Cloud of Darkness is a 5-mana 3/3 avatar. It's uncommon. It has flying and particle beam. It looks like a turbo Gorgon. It's cool. When Cloud of Darkness enters, target creature an opponent controls gets -X/-X, where X is the number of permanent cards in your graveyard. Wasn't this also the ability of like a uncommon Chupacabra? In... Was it LCI? Lost Caverns of Ixalan? It's from Final Fantasy III. I didn't play that one because it didn't get released in the US until later. LCI. Also, there's a Catobleepus that does it. Okay. We love Catobleepi. But that one was based on Devotion, I think. The snakeheads have different preferred tastes in food. Each one wants to eat a different warrior. So this is a decent card in Limited because it will kill things when it enters. It won't always kill things when it enters, but it's still like just nice later in the game. It's a 3/3 flyer on top of everything else. Is it amazing? No, but it's fine. And it's also like, not everything has to be an incredible legendary. Not a commander card. Is that how you pronounce Catobleepus? I have no idea. That's how I say it. I first saw that word in Theros, and then later in the, like, Planeswalker's Guide to Theros D&D book. It might be like Catobleepus. I don't know. Wait. Google! How do we bleep Catobleepus? Might be Catobleepus? The heck? Oxford English Dictionary. Open! Show me the bleepers!
Catobleepus. Catobleepus.
No, it's Catobleepus. The dumber you say it, the better it gets. To all my fellow bleepers out there. X-Death, Void, Warlock. Speaking of cool fights. 3 mana, 3/3. When X-Death enters, you gain 3 life. At the beginning of your end step, if there are 6 or more permanent cards in your graveyard, you've descended 6, you have. Neo X-Death, Dimensions End. The Spirit Avatar, it is 3 toughness, trampling, and scales in size with your graveyard. It's fine. It's not wowing me. It's fine. I think it's okay for constructed too. It's not like amazing. It's just like, hey, are you self-milling? Myco Tyrant, same thing. It's a descend deck. Then this might be a nice big attacker, but it's definitely not like incredible. Yeah, it's a 3 mana uncommon. He's got 3 toughness. He sure does die to Lightning Bolt. Genova, Ancient Calamity. Hello, mommy. Space mommy. I like that they gave her legendary creature type alien. 4 mana, 1/5. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a number of +1/+1 counters equal to Genova's power and up to 1 other target creature, so she can't target herself. That creature becomes a mutant, and whenever a mutant you control dies, during your turn, you draw cards equal to its power. So this is something that's going to be growing up your field. If you manage to get more counters on Genova, or you buffer with an equipment, she will make other things even stronger. Okay, seems fine. Did Alien already exist as a creature type? Not in Standard or in Arena, but yes, because it was in Doctor Who. It was in, even in Universes Within, kind of. It was in Unfinity. And I think they also put, Alien Symbiote for, Venom's type for more Universes Beyond stuff. Did they depict aliens in Duskborn? Yeah, but I don't think that they were type alien on either the UFO or Fear of Abduction, I want to say, was the one with aliens on it. I think this is great for limited. As for constructed, I mean, 1 second. Format, Brawl, type, mutant. How many mutants we got just on our own? Oh, a lot of Simic mutants. Okay, can't play all of those in here. Hauntwood Shrieker is a mutant. Yeah, I'm thinking about things that you don't have to get the counter on. The answer is there's a couple mutants on their own, but not enough to build around a mutant as a theme. Like Mutant Sacrifice. You have to wait until she gets the counter on them, turn them into the mutant, then sacrifice them to draw the cards. Goblin Mutant for the deep cut. Marvel set will bring more mutants. I mean, it has to, right? Spider-Man, it's gonna have some mutants. If we ever get an X-Men set, mutant, everybody's mutants. Was Corey a mutant? It was mutate. Not mutant, but mutate. Oh my god, it's the king of the dwarves. Look at him. Look at him! Jot, king of the dwarves! 2 mana, 1/1 double strike. Whenever Jot or another dwarf you control enters, and whenever an equipment card you control enters, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Okay, so I'm glad that we have more dwarf typal stuff. It's not that good, but at least it's dwarf typal stuff. Yeah, he got that gat. You can dress up as one in Final Fantasy XIV, and they have a quest line. Oh, that's fun. Lally-ho. Yeah, did you see the other dwarf had the lally-ho? Yeah, it helps you find more of your equipments. I think there's one other dwarf in the set. No, 2, because of Lalafell. Boo. Yeah, it's fine. Naturally, having double strike is not... Yeah, it's fine for limited. Joshua. Phoenix is dominant. Man, you got the most just boring name, huh? All right, Joshua. You're a 3 mana, 3/4. Oh, he's got stats. When he enters, you discard up to 2 cards and draw that many cards. Okay, more graveyard stuff. Sure. Are you a lore hold secretly? It's okay, you can tell me if you are. You're not Boros, you're a lore hold. 5 mana, tap, exile Joshua, and return him as Phoenix, Warden of Fire, a 4/4 flying lifelink, deals 2 damage to each opponent. Oh, and that will gain you life too, because it has lifelink. Does it again, and then return any number of target creature cards with a total mana value 6 or less from your graveyard, and then he flips back over. You can put more cards into the graveyard, so you can flip him back and reanimate them. I like that. That's cool. This seems like fine and limited. I think Joshua's an F-boy who will never leave. Okay, so I never played 16. Do you not love him? I don't know. I don't know what people's opinion of 16 boys are. He's Clive's brother. Okay, does that make him cool? As a kid, he sucks, but as an adult, he's cool. All right. So do I have to just, like, keep lighting him on fire, though, so he keeps, like, being reborn as a terrible child? Let's go with it. Lightning! Army of 1! 3 mana, 3/2, human soldier, first strike, trample, lifelink, stagger. So this is designed to hit first and then get this trigger whenever lightning deals combat damage to a player until your next turn. If its source would deal damage to that player or a permanent that player controls, it deals double that damage instead. For just 3 mana, this gives you a way to double your damage going forward. And yes, if you give lightning double strike, she'll hit again for twice as much. And also, her ability will trigger again. You know, quadruple damage. If you can get multiple combats or double strike, I feel like she gets hella good. I think Lightning seems like a cool card. I think in Limited, it is just like a solid floor. First strike, trample, lifelink at a 3/2. Great. Okay, that's going to win in a lot of combats, and it works great with throwing some equipment on her. On top of that, the damage doubling is really nice because it lets your normally attacking creatures get the double damage in. All your last strikers out there having a good time. Yeah. Also good for constructed, but probably not standard constructed, just like Brawl and Commander constructed. Zidane, Tantalus Thief. He's not just Ragavan. Whoa. 5 mana, 3/3. Human Mutant Scout. Oh, he's not an alien? Why not? I think he should be an alien. When Zidane enters, gain control of target creature and opponent controls until end of turn. Untap it, it gets lifelink and haste. Whenever an opponent gains control of a permanent from you, so when it gets the active treason card back, you create a treasure token. Okay. Active treason on a stick we've seen before. This is a decent one. Especially with like how many sacrifice cards there are in the set. I think that it makes it a little better. It's not bad. The lifelink's also cool. Definitely just for limited, though. He's a mutant. Yay, he's a mutant. He's monkey. I think he should just be alien rogue. And now, Cloud. From this. There he is. This Cloud. This Cloud. Oh, put him in Zedru so you get more treasures. Sure. So this is the Cloud that is not in draft, but it is standard legal. Okay, Cloud, planet's champion. During your turn, as long as Cloud is equipped, he has double strike and is indestructible. So he's very good at attacking. Equip abilities that target Cloud cost 2 less. He can hold so many swords, you guys, it's crazy. You could have the Sword of Forge and Frontier. You could have Trailblazer's boots, Swiftfoot boots. You give him he could wear so many boots. Give him a Buster Sword too, why not? Giving him Trample seems good. And I feel like this is a card that is not going to see any standard play, but would make for a decent commander. Not like a crazy good one, but a decent one. Boros equipment. Ignis Scienticia. He's making the food. You can tell he's the smart one because he has the glasses on. 3 mana, 2/2 human advisor. When Ignis enters, you look at the top 6 cards of your library. You can put a land card from among them into the battlefield tapped. The rest go on the bottom of your library. And I've come up with a new recipe. You can exile a card from a graveyard. If it was a creature, then you make a food. Cost 2 and a tap. So it's kind of nice. This is a 3-mana ramp creature, so it enables your Chocobo landfalls, and also gets you more mana so you can cast more giant dinosaurs. He cooks the creature. He makes the coffee. Omega Heartless Evolution is a 7-mana 8/8. A robot. When Omega enters, for each opponent, tap up to 1 target non-land permanent that opponent controls. Put X stun counters on those permanents, and you gain X life, where X is the number of non-basic lands you control, which in limited might only be like 1 or 2, those towns. Huh. I mean, you don't always need to get the stun, but... yeah, a lot better outside of limited, but it's also a 7-mana random artifact, so it's probably not going to see much play outside of it. It's a big robot. Yeah. I think in limited, this is like a big chunky thing you play. Do I actually think it's that good? No, I don't really like it. The Wandering Minstrel. So I saw that this is a 5-color creature, and I have a question for the Final Fantasy XIV players. Is this like someone's player character, or is this a character in the game? That's Yoshi? Oh, okay. That explains why it just looks like a guy. It's just, okay, so this is the guy who, like, revived Final Fantasy XIV and made it a game that people like. He loves Final Fantasy XIV more than anyone else. He's a quest giver in the game. Nice. So, this is a 2-mana, 1/3. Lands you control, enter untapped. That's good. It's very good, because usually you gotta pay a little bit more for that, or you have to have, like, an Amulet of Vigor, which we just don't have in Arena. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control 5 or more towns, you make a 2/2 elemental creature token that's all colors. So this is, I guess, your town payoff too, because a lot of towns come in tapped. And for 8 mana, 3 + 5, other creatures you control, but +X, where X is the number of towns you control. So it sounds like you want to get towns, and then do that. But honestly, just like in a deck that's playing a bunch of lands, this isn't bad, since make sure lands come in untapped. There are things that are very good with make lands come in untapped. Does he work with the thing that makes the anywhere lands from, or the everywhere lands from Duskmourn? Yeah, they would come in untapped. He's cute. That's a cool card. I think in limited, this is probably difficult to get the 5 or more town buff. But if you pick one this, and then you can like hard pick a bunch of different like 5-color towns to try to be able to activate this ability. I don't think it's that like impressive otherwise. It's cool though, and that's cool that they put Yoshi on a card. Works with Omo. It works with Omo. Oh, somebody was not asking, do the land tokens from Overlord of the Hauntwoods come in untapped? They were asking, does it trigger this? No, because they're not towns. Omo turns things into towns. Cards like Dryad of the Elysian Grove and the Everywhere cards, that just gives them all the basic types. So they have the 5 basic land types. They are not towns. Choco! Seeker of Paradise. This is the birds commander I was talking about. I'm excited about Choco. This might be the first thing I build. Okay, it's the first thing I'm going to build. It's birds and landfall and birds. Whenever one or more birds you control attack, look at that many cards from the top of your library. Put one of them into your hand. Then put any lands from among them onto the battlefield. Just put the lands in. They come in tapped. All the other cards go into graveyard. I'm not a landfall trigger addict. But like whenever a land you control enters, Choco does get +1/+0 until end of turn. Birds. Birds. There are 23 different towns. Yeah, because there's the 10 that are duels. There's the 5 that are adventures, and then there's a smattering of other ones. I can stop playing lands whenever I want, you guys. And I can stop playing birds, too. Noctis, Prince of Lucius. This is a protagonist boy of Final Fantasy 15, the prince and the leader of the boy band. They're 100% a boy band, just look at them. 4 mana, 4/3, lifelink, human noble. You may cast artifact spells from your graveyard by paying 3 life in addition to paying no other costs, and they come in with finality counters. That's pretty good. Just being able to play artifacts from your graveyard, even at the cost of life, it's very nice. In limited, I imagine that it's a decent ability. It's also stable to a life-linking creature, possibly getting back equipment so you can buff him. You want to build him so bad. I feel like he would be pretty decent as a commander. Lots of good, like, graveyardy artifact stuff. There's CDH viable potential. Okay, I'd believe you if you told me, because I don't know what people do with artifacts in CDH other than I'm sure it's broken. I'm out here thinking, dang, you know what's an artifact you could replay from the graveyard? Paradox Engine. Banned in Commander, not banned in Brawl. You can infinite with one of the moxes. Oh, the mox that, like, sacrifices itself if you don't discard or something. There's something weird. There's one of those mox. And Mox Diamond? Or do you have to, like, play 2 of them to loop them, but they don't get exiled because something about the finality counter doesn't happen? Oh, if you don't discard a land. Okay. But it would technically not get the finality counter because it wouldn't enter because it triggers on cast. So you do that with what? Aetherflux Reservoir? It sacks on the stack if you discard, so it never gets the finality counter, so you just keep casting it from your graveyard, and if you have Aetherflux Reservoir, you're gaining more and more life until you can shoot down the entire table. Okay, there's the combo. It goes to the graveyard before it enters. It's so weird. Yeah. Kefka, Court Mage, a Grixis human wizard. Not a clown. Watsy, come on. You introduce a clown creature type, you don't give it to my boy Kefka? He's like my favorite evil clown. He's a 5 mana, 4/5. Whenever he enters or attacks, each player discards a card. Very annoying, very Grixis. Then you draw cards for each card type among cards discarded this way. You also have to discard. Just notably. He's a court mage. Nobody told him to put on that makeup. He wanted to do it for himself. And also, he is crazy. Yes. If you discard an enchantment creature, it would be 2 different draws. Yes. Just because he dresses like a clown doesn't make him a clown. He's a clown to me. He's a clown to me. So at 8 mana, though, each opponent sacrifices a permanent of their choice, and you transform Kefka. So I would say the front side of this Kefka is annoying and pretty good and limited. If you're paying 8, Kefka, Ruler of Ruin, is a 5/7 flyer. Whenever an opponent loses life during your turn, you draw that many cards. Which sounds good until you realize, oh wait, I'm going to draw too many cards and die. Scraps, do you want to come up here? I see you on the floor. She came in here earlier, too. He's a bozo. He, like, destroys the whole world. Come on. Don't you want to come up here? Aren't you happy I'm back home, Scraps, after going to Riot? Are you glad I didn't abandon you for League of Legends? Everyone should be happy they didn't get abandoned for League of Legends. It's only during your turn, so you can control it a bit. I know, but I'm just thinking, like, I'm gonna swing in for 5 and draw 5. Oh, God. I don't have that many cards in Limited. In Constructed, though, that's fine. Nice, Scraps. You're so good. Definitely a nice card for Limited, and I think it could be a cool commander. Spira, Punishment. It's Sin. It's Peepaw. Sort of. Listen, it makes sense in the game. Actually, it doesn't, because it's Final Fantasy writing. It's Final Fantasy writing. Anyway, this is Sin. He's the big boss. And he's 7 mana, 7/7. He's a Leviathan avatar. Don't give me that look, Scraps. Flying. Whenever Sin enters or attacks, exile a permanent card from your graveyard at random and make a tap token that's a copy of the card. If the exiled card was a land, you repeat the process. I think that's really fun. I like the idea of RNG reanimation. And I think that the card's design is cool. It is 7 mana, it's in self-mill colors, and who knows what you'll hit. A big evil flying whale. Like the best of us. Like the rest of us. Good and limited at 7 mana. I feel like that's pretty nice. And it's cool that it's on enter or attack. Bahamut as a standalone card. This is a mythic rare. Are you also mythic? No, you're just regular rare. Hi, baby. Can I get you to move? You're sitting directly in front of the card. Can you scooch over a little bit? Okay, I'll pet you. Destroy up to 1 target non-land permanent. Wow, that sure is 9 mana. Maybe you can bring it back with Yuna. Draw 2 cards. Okay, so you get to destroy 2 things, then draw 2 cards. Mega Flare. This creature deals damage equal to the total mana value of other permanents you control to each opponent. Talking about doubling Ishtola's ability with Delany? Sure! Let's go! Yeah, there's a couple colorless cards. I'm just going to do them now because there's not that many. Yeah, Bahamut? I would personally not play this in limited, but maybe you want to. Maybe you can. Can you copy it? There's ways to copy this if it's already in play. It's also like a 9/9 flyer. It feels like it's just like a big silly thing. It's freaking Bahamut. It's not legendary. No, it's not. Then we have Ultima. Ultima is a colorless payoff card. And it sure is a 5 mana 4/4 with flying. And it's a god. And whenever it attacks, you put a blight counter on target land. For as long as that land has a blight counter on it, it loses all land types and ability and just taps for colorless. But whenever you tap a land for colorless, so you could put this on your own cards, you get an additional colorless. It's kind of like Forsaken Monument. Not bad. He's a god. He's not indestructible. Then we're going to go into vehicles and colorless things. But I'm going to take a break here. And then we're going to go into the airship.